What a game, and hello playoffs. The Dallas Cowboys have now finished their 2021 campaign with a 12-5 record, which I predicted before the season began, but also against the hated Philadelphia Eagles, where we dropped a goddamn 50 burger on them. Yes, I understand that they had backups and stuff like that, but you know what? If they're backups, then you should beat them as they are backups. And even the Cowboys' backups towards the end of the game put up 21 points. So the way I look at it, all I can say is how about them Cowboys? Okay? So what I want to do is talk about this game, talk about the possible playoff matchups, and how I'm feeling going into this tournament. So before we begin that, if you could like the video, that'd be greatly appreciated. Subscribe if you are new and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on new content like this. So as we've established, the Dallas Cowboys have defeated the Philadelphia Eagles 51-26 in the final game of the season. And the reason that this was a big game was it was to get Dallas back on track, right? And Blake Jarwin had a sighting in this game, and he really, I'm not saying that he was responsible, but I think the Cowboys did a lot better in this game was run the ball effectively and smarter. They were doing a lot more outside runs. Zeke was getting a bit more chunk yardage and stuff like that. And realistically speaking, they rushed for 171 rushing yards, and regardless of when you want to put that in where it was garbage time, the fact of the matter remains is that Dallas, got back to how you're supposed to be doing this thing. Run the ball effectively, let Dak Prescott do his thing, and that's that. The Cowboys were without Micah Parsons, Trevon Diggs, and a couple other guys, but they were able to take care of business. Dak Prescott, congratulations to you, my guy. 37 touchdown passes in a Cowboys season, setting the new franchise record. And he did play 16 games, so let's keep it there. I'm very excited for him because, he deserves that record, especially with coming back from the injury and to play the way he's been playing. I mean, when you think about it, throwing 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, and 5 touchdowns in the past couple of games, 3 games to be exact, completing 70% of his passes. And really, I understand that he's had some moments here and there where he misses, but the fact remains is that Dak Prescott is the guy, and he showed why he's the guy. To come off of the injury and to then set this new franchise high is fantastic. Career record with 5 touchdowns. He only had 6 incompletions the entire game, people, which is fantastic. Dak had a very efficient night. He looked poised. He looked sharp. He was wheeling and dealing, and everything looked right on his side of the ball. There were a couple of gaps here and there defensively with the run game, but I think that Dallas really adjusted well into that second half. And they only allowed 9 points in that final half, and then one of which was a garbage time touchdown. So the way I look at it is that as I'm taking a look at these stats here, these, it's just an unbelievable day for Dak Prescott. First 5 touchdown game, 21 of 27, 295. Zeke hits 1,000 yards. He had 87 yards. Longest run was 26. Corey Clement, I really like what I see in him. I would love for the Cowboys to keep him as a rotational back. 58 yards. He had that long run. Jaquan Hardy had his moment. I'm glad he got a touchdown. That was pretty cool. Speaking of touchdowns, Cowboys now have set the new NFL record for most players to score touchdowns in a season with 22. So that's fantastic. You go to your receiver stats. Cedric Wilson, man, he has made the offense hum a lot more than Michael. And that's no slight to Michael Gallup. I don't want to insult Michael Gallup and say that he's garbage, or insinuate that he's causing issues with the offense. I think with how Cedric Wilson has been, the Cowboys offense runs a bit more efficient with him in the lineup, and we've had the track record. And now with Blake Jarwin back, I think that's also going to improve your run game a bit. Not that he blocks particularly well, it's because it allows you to do more 12 personnel, which the Cowboys have allowed. That's what has allowed Dallas to get to that hot start when they were 6-1. So you look at these defensive stats. Kelvin Joseph, great game. He should have had he should have had an interception. He played very well. DeMonte Casey played solid. Leighton Vander Esch, I believe he had an interception. So, all around, and then we had 3 sacks, DeMarcus Lawrence, Terrell Basham, and Armstrong, and Tristan Hill getting their part into the fun. But overall, I can't complain. I mean, you get back that momentum. And now we sit here today wondering what is the playoff picture going to look like for Dallas and what would be the optimal matchup at this point. Now, when it comes to their possible playoff matchup, the Dallas Cowboys have several combinations. More notably, with the win, it gives Dallas a chance to move up in seeding. It comes down to 3 particular games that you all should be watching because it's going to determine who we're playing. So, to kind of start off, statistically speaking, the Dallas Cowboys have an 87.5% chance of playing Arizona in that first round. Ain't bad, and I'm going to talk about like my gut feeling on how I'm feeling where the team is right now. So you can either play the Rams, Arizona, the 49ers, or Philadelphia in the first round. Now, for these certain instances, right, to play Arizona, in essence, everybody wins, or rather, the Arizona Cardinals lose and the Rams win. The next scenario would be the 3rd seed. The 3rd seed's only possible if both the Rams, who play the 49ers, lose, and the Arizona Cardinals lose as well against Seattle. Both are very possible at that, so let's just keep that in mind. Finally, the 2 seed. So the 2 seed, not only would you need the Rams and Cardinals to lose, you would also need the Bucs to lose, who play Carolina. I doubt that's going to happen, but again, crazier shit has happened. So what does that mean for Dallas? So if we get the 4th seed, we have a chance of playing either Arizona, which is the more likely matchup, or the Rams. If we get the 3rd seed, we're going to most likely play San Francisco, and if we get that high seed, we're probably going to play Philadelphia. That 2nd seed. There is a chance that we could face New Orleans. I believe the 49ers have to lose and they have to win. So there is an outside possibility that we do end up facing the Saints. But again, I'm more so concerned about Arizona right now because I think that based off of projections, that's who you're going to face. And so with that, I did a short video talking about the superstitious thing where if since the year 2000, basically whatever happens in that final game of the season, depending, when the Cowboys clinch a playoff spot, whatever happens in that final week matchup, whether it's a win or a loss, happens in the first playoff game the Cowboys play. So I already went through all the examples. You can go back and watch that video. But basically, with Dallas winning, and I firmly believe this. I think Dallas will win their first playoff game at this point. They captured back that momentum. They got back to what's working. And again, I don't want to hear, they just faced the Eagles backups. Okay, I don't really care. They did what they had to do. They dropped a 50-piece on these fuckers. Shut up. Seriously. And, all these Eagles fans wanted to talk shit. Listen, I really don't care. Ultimately, we live rent-free in your guys' head, apparently, because every single time I see you guys talking about us, number one. Number two, who gives a flying fuck? We beat the shit out of you at home. Even the backups put up 21 points against you. You know what I mean? They outscored your backups 21-9 in the second half. So mess with me with that bullshit. Anyways, getting back to this. Side rant over. The Cowboys, I feel good in a rematch versus Arizona. The main reasoning for that is because when you watch that the matchup versus Arizona in Week 17, the Dallas Cowboys managed to sort of make it a game. But where I personally think is the case is that the Dallas Cowboys, really shot themselves in the foot in that game. I do believe that Dallas should have won. They should have won that game if it wasn't for the fact that what happened, and they, stumbled out of the gates, and it kind of took a bit for them to get going. So I think Dallas will do it. Now, don't give me they got DeAndre Hopkins back. They're bringing J.J. Watt. I do not care. Ultimately, I think that whatever you want to look at it as, the Dallas Cowboys are still one of the better teams in the conference. Now, again, just because I say that doesn't mean that they're going to win it all. I'm not implying that. But the Dallas Cowboys have a formula. It comes down to, number one, if their defense can hold up, which for the most part this season it has. That's number one. Number two, what does their offense do? Dak Prescott ultimately can go. We go as far as he can go, but notably this offense has to be run efficiently. You know, it's Kellen Moore's job to ensure that this run game puts our offense in the best situation, because it's not healthy and good for your team if your quarterback has to consistently bail you out on long downs and distances every single time. So there is that. Again, I'm very comfortable with where Dallas is at. I think that and listen, I'm not expecting a blowout in the playoffs in any playoff game. I'm expecting them to be sharp, clean. I'm expecting them to be, sharp, precision-based type of games where whatever you do not F up. I'm worried about Greg Zuerlein still, because this SOB wants to goddamn miss an extra point, which I'll give him that. You know why? Because we got a scoregami in this game, so I'll take that. But with that being said, the Dallas Cowboys have a formula that has shown that they can be successful. They are a 12-win team. Dak Prescott has been playing, well, in my personal opinion, based off of what happened this season, he's had the best season a Cowboys quarterback has ever had. Ezekiel Elliott, not looking the greatest, still got 1,000 yards, and ultimately he still has his moments, okay, with that ground and pound style. When you get Tony Pollard back, that's going to be something else. The receiving cores, I think, do a lot better with Michael Gallup. I think there's more rapport with Cedric Wilson than Michael Gallup with Dak Prescott. And ultimately, look, this Cowboys team has a ton of weapons. As long as their offensive line stays upright and does their job, it's going to be really tough to beat Dallas when they're on their A game. The only team that can stop Dallas is themselves. I can go through every single matchup, including Green Bay. I think Dallas has a realistic shot to win each of those games if they play their best set of football. But I don't want to go on any further and talk about a game full of backups. But this was a really good game. Dallas showed why they're one of the better teams in the league, taking care of business against the team which is a playoff team, and they took advantage of those backups in there. Dallas sweeps the NFC East, first time done since 2004 in Philadelphia doing that. If you want to be the superstitious, last time that was done, Philly went to the championship that year, but again, I'm not having high hopes for that because the playoffs are a different animal. Dak went back into the tunnel. He said the real shit starts now. I think that's what he said. I agree with him. This 12-5 season, you can throw it out the window. You are now waiting to determine where you're placed in the tournament, and you play whoever is in front of you. I don't care who we face. Give me that opponent, and let's go to war, guys. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll wait until tomorrow, and then we'll talk about the playoff matchup and the overall, how I felt about the Cowboys season now that everything is concluded. And, yeah, have a great rest of your night, guys. Bye-bye.